New research from a leading UK mortgage broker has revealed renters in England are missing out on nearly £340,000 in potential wealth creation when compared to homeowners. Put simply, if you rent for 30 years, you could be £340,000 worse off than someone who has owned a home for the same amount of time. This is how the Mortgage Advice Bureau, who conducted the research, came to the figures. While renting may feel safer and more flexible in the short term, the long-term financial trade-off can be significant. MAB's research shows that by year 2, homeowners start to save money versus renting, around £99, which, if, for example, they chose to invest in a FTSE 100 tracker fund, is boosted to £104, equating to 14 pence saved per day. As the gap between the cost of renting and owning a home rises, i.e. annual rent payments rise but mortgage payments remain fixed, by year 10, homeowners could save up to £12,157 compared to renters. If they opted to invest this amount, that sum could grow to £14,358, generating an additional gain of £2,202. By year 14, those invested savings could reach £39,539, enough to fully recoup a typical first-time buyer deposit. And so on and so forth until you get to year 30 and you have 300k in the bank. Now, the study was run by a mortgage broker who are, of course, trying to get more people to take out mortgages, which is fine. But to most normal people watching this, there's a glaring omission. If you go back to the statement, they mention that by year 14, mortgage holders can recoup 40 grand in savings, which is what they might have put down as a deposit. Now, of course, the problem here isn't that people don't know the advantages of buying as opposed to renting. In fact, the same study showed that 64% of all renters agree that buying a home is more financially secure in the long term. The problem is that most people don't have 40k to put down on a housing deposit. The people that do are either very, very high earners who are able to save money on top of renting temporarily, or those with family money. A report by estate agency Savills found that last year more than half of first-time buyers received financial help from their family, and an average of £55,500 was given in loans and gifts from parents. And of course, those able to put up larger deposits were given more favourable mortgage rates, saving them more money in the long term. So the story here isn't that young people aren't financially literate enough to buy a home. It's that the biggest determining factor of whether you can buy a house and accrue wealth over the course of your lifetime is whether or not your family have enough money to afford to help you. So the biggest determining factor of whether you will be able to accrue wealth, be stable, etc., is having a rich mum and dad. Yet what I find pretty unbelievable is that the deputy CEO of MAB, who commissioned this study, said this, which I found to be pretty insensitive. He said, "Our research reveals that many renters are much closer to buying than they realise, despite the barriers they perceive." Now, I don't think that being unable to conjure up 40 grand out of nowhere for a deposit in this economy when you don't have family money is a perceived barrier. I think it's about as real as a barrier can get, especially when you consider that 47% of young people are unable or just about managing to make ends meet each month, and that 56% of young people in work experience financial precarity, and that the average energy bill, household energy bill, has doubled in the past 5 years, whilst real-term wages have remained stagnant for nearly 15 years. So in a world of unstable income, a skyrocketing cost of living, and low wages, where are young people supposed to get the money from? So to me, for young people today, the only truly honest advice you can give, the only advice that is actually backed up by the data, is that if you want to own a home one day, just have a rich family.